Today is Tuesday, Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2024. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. My name is Hunter, and we have increasing confidence of a wintry pattern as we switch from 2024 into 2025. We're going to be breaking down everything that you need to know in this weather forecast as far as rain goes, as far as snow goes, the cold and warm weather, and everything that you need to know right here on this channel accurately. So if you want to subscribe to the channel for accurate weather forecasts moving forward throughout the winter, the spring, the summer, the fall, you got it right here. So subscribe to the channel, check back often for updates, like the video by giving it a thumbs up down below, and of course, share this video with friends, family, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Let's get into it here. Low temperatures this Christmas Eve morning. We started off pretty chilly up here in the upper Midwest with some teens, some low 20s out there. Same thing from Maine all the way down here in toward Virginia and across the Rockies here in the higher elevations. We're pretty cold. Notice how it wasn't Arctic cold, right? We're bottling that up into Canada here, at least for the time being, because we have a big ridge of high pressure developing in eastern Canada near Hudson Bay and a little bit of a trough, a storm system coming in across the west as we go through today. So let's look here at the high temperatures this afternoon, and notice with the absence of the Arctic air, temperatures will be up into the 20s and 30s all the way up into the Midwest today, the Ohio Valley today, and the Northeast today as well. And some 50s and 60s, even some rogue 70s further to the south this afternoon. As we go into Christmas Day tomorrow on Wednesday, December 25th, we're going to continue to see the warm trend continue, and we're only going to warm up a little bit more each day as we go into Thursday, December 26th, and Friday, December 27th. Look at these temperature anomalies up here in Manitoba and northern Ontario approaching 50 degrees above the norm for late December. Even the central U.S., a good 30 degrees above the norm for late December standards. So you know it's going to be warm later this week and it continue to warm up. Here are your weather alerts across the country. We are dealing with some kind of dreary conditions across the Dakotas here, western Minnesota and eastern Nebraska. In these grays, those are dense fog advisories. Visibility is reduced. So make sure if you are traveling in any of these areas that you do take it slow on the roadways. Use your fog lights if you can. Out to the west, we do have a lot of weather alerts out here. We have winter weather advisories in the purple, winter storm warnings in the pinks. We even have flood watches in the green in the lower elevations, likely to see some flooding potential. And then in those tan shaded colors, we have wind advisories and even some high wind warnings out there as a powerful system moves in, bringing lots of wind as well. So this afternoon, we are watching a threat for severe weather down here, mainly into southeast and east Texas. We could see some scattered severe thunderstorms down there, really along and east of the I-35 corridor. Bigger storm out across the west. We have some snow in the higher elevations of Oregon, higher elevations of Washington State and Idaho, extending down to the Sierras of California. Heavier rainfall could cause some flooding down there here in the lower elevations of the Sierras. And then a heavier thunderstorm complex trying to develop here and kind of push southeastward, if you will, toward coastal Texas as we go into this evening and overnight tonight. And then as we go into Christmas Day, this is the picture out there. We got some showers, a few thunderstorms perhaps there in southern Louisiana. One or two of those could be stronger, would not be surprised. Some rogue flurries and snow showers across the Rockies there, and then a bigger system moving into British Columbia that could produce some very heavy snows for Vancouver on Christmas Day and some heavy snows for the Cascades, but some heavy rain though in the lower elevations in places like Seattle and just west of Portland on Christmas Day. Let's look at the severe weather outlook that the Storm Prediction Center has provided us for this Christmas Eve. We do have a level 2 out of 5 on the risk scale, especially in the yellow shaded color, including the I-35 corridor from Waco down toward Austin and then eastward toward the Houston Metroplex. And we are keeping an eye on the threat for 60-mile-per-hour winds with these storms. We also have a little bit more elevated chance of some quarter-size hail, especially, again, along and east of the I-35 corridor from Waco down to Austin and toward the Houston Metroplex. But thankfully, the tornado risk is not zero, but it is less than 2%. It's very, very low throughout the day, but you would not rule out an isolated, robust tornado as we go through the day. Thankfully, as we go into Christmas Day, not really outlook for any severe weather currently. I would not be surprised if southern Louisiana had maybe a level 1 out of 5 dark green area, which would be a marginal as we do go into tomorrow. Would not be shocked to see a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust or a quarter-size hail as we go into Christmas Day. Thankfully, the tornado risk will also be very low here. Looking at Thursday, post-Christmas travel, we got a couple big storms moving across the country. Another severe weather maker perhaps across the southern plains, Oklahoma down toward Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana on Thursday. Bigger snow system across the Pacific Northwest. That'll spread really a lot of snow through Idaho, through Washington State, Oregon, northeastern Nevada, into Utah, into Montana, Wyoming, and western Colorado. Seeing a lot of that, and then a lot of moisture moving up toward the Great Lakes here. This won't be severe, but definitely seeing some rainfall as we go into Friday, as temperatures will be way too warm for snow up there toward Chicago. Looking here at the severe weather outlook for Thursday, this is after Christmas, Thursday, December 26th of 2024. We have another level 2 out of 5 slight risk of severe weather down here, again along and east of the I-35 corridor in East Texas. So Tyler, down toward Waco, down toward Austin and the Houston area, up there toward Shreveport, Louisiana. And then so far for Friday, December 27th, no outlooked areas for severe weather. It's still a few days out. Would not be shocked to see a marginal or slight risk day on this day either, but further east into Arkansas or Louisiana, maybe even Mississippi. We'll keep an eye on that. If you don't see severe weather, you're likely to see some very heavy rain in these areas, as we're going to be piling up the rain from southern Illinois all the way back down to coastal Texas. Anywhere from 1 to as much as 4 inches worth of rainfall here will be possible with a couple repeated rounds of rain this week. Very heavy rains off the west coast here from Washington State all the way southward to northern California. Here we could be seeing half a foot of rain between now and Saturday, December 28th. Very heavy snow in the higher elevations. I mean, British Columbia there into the Vancouver region. The Cascades, especially for Washington State, could be seeing several feet of snow. A couple feet of snow in the Sierras, and even the Rockies out here. Idaho could get a couple feet of snow as well in the higher elevations as we go into the weekend. And this could cause some travel troubles, some slippery travel out across the west. So if your post-Christmas travel takes you out across the Pacific Northwest or the Pacific Southwest, in particular the Sierras, we could see some major travel disruptions as we go into the weekend. Definitely keeping an eye on that. Let's look at the weekend, because it's a blowtorch weather pattern that we're definitely in as we go into the weekend here. This is the last weekend of December. And look at these temperature anomalies up here near Hudson Bay. I mean, these are off the charts. There's not even a color for these, folks. 50 degrees above norm across much of central, eastern, and northeastern Canada, and let alone the United States. We're seeing a large chunk of the United States 10, 20, 30 degrees above norm, especially the further east you go this weekend. You know it's going to be warm, and that warmer air will translate to any precipitation that does fall this weekend. It will be more liquid precipitation than wintry with snow, sleet, or freezing rain. So a lot more rain with a warmer pattern, and that'll continue into Sunday. More of a bigger rain system from the northeast down there toward the Carolinas and the southeast, like Georgia and into Florida. And you guessed it, another big storm coming in across the west coast as we go into Sunday, and this will all do it all over again as we go into the following week, which will take us into January. Let's look here currently at the teleconnections. We've showed you this the past couple of days. This is very important to outlook of what is to come as we go into January. This is the AO, the Arctic oscillation. Right now is positive, okay? But it's going to trend neutral and then negative. Look how strongly negative it goes by the time we get into that second week of January. That is something to note, because that will dislodge some colder air from Canada and the Arctic further to the south into the United States. The NAO, the North Atlantic oscillation, is positive right now. It's going to trend negative and stay negative for quite some time into the first and second week of January. The EPO, the East Pacific oscillation, strongly positive right now. That's why we're seeing all the warmer air. That's going to trend neutral and then eventually strongly negative as we go into that second week of January. And finally, looking at the PNA, the Pacific North American oscillation is positive right now. We were having some hints that yesterday this might drop negative. We may see that get close to neutral, maybe say just slightly positive. That could lead to some warmer air across the Pacific Southwest here. I think the drought feedback down there is actually going to fight against the colder air, but we'll keep an eye on that as we go across the desert Southwest into January. Here's the height anomalies. The first full week of January here, taking us through Monday, January 6th, we got the blocking pattern up here in towards the Greenland region. in toward Hudson Bay. We got another blocking up here in toward Alaska, and what that's going to do is force that colder air southward. It has nowhere else to go but south, and that's going to build in across the central and the eastern U.S. You can see the blues here on the height anomaly map, and then as we go into the second week of January, the 6th through the 13th, that really starts to deepen across portions of the Great Lakes here, and we see a bigger trough develop into that second week of January, forcing some Arctic air down to the United States. So the temperature anomaly the first week of January going through the 6th time frame. Notice it's still anomalously warm up here toward Hudson Bay with the blocking ridge of high pressure. But notice the colder air sneaking in underneath of that here. It's not Arctic air necessarily, but it's colder than what we've been seeing, and that should give us some more snow opportunities there into the first week of January. Now, looking at the second week of January, the 6th through the 13th, notice how the anomalously warm air starts to dwindle there across Hudson Bay, up there toward Greenland a little bit. That's going to force even colder air, and this will be the true Arctic air that we've been waiting for, and winter will be on across the lower 48 in southern Canada by this point as we really start to see some cold air, and that could be some bitterly cold air as well. Let's look here at the snowfall, because with the colder air comes the snow. We're still going to have storm systems moving across the country in precipitation, and if it's colder, it's going to fall as wintry precipitation, whether that's snow, that's sleet, that's freezing rain. We may still have some rain further to the south as well, and some severe weather on the southern side of these systems, but look at the step down process we see. The first week of January through the 6th, we're starting to see more snow opportunities for the upper Midwest, for the Great Lakes and the Northeast. And you may ask yourself, well, we've already seen this up here already. Well, it's starting to melt, right? We're seeing a warmer pattern now, but we're going to get colder. We're going to see the snow line drop south, and then finally by the second week of January, any snow lovers out there in the Ohio Valley, the Midwest, the Northeast here should have plentiful opportunities for snow, and out west as well for the Cascades again, the Sierras and the Rockies, even further south in the Rockies. I know Utah and Colorado in particular started off strong this season with snow. I think we end strong as well as we have more systems coming in on the lee side of the Rockies here and diving more toward Texas. So something we'll keep an eye on there. We'll keep you updated on this channel. Subscribe to the channel down below for any updates to come as we go through Christmas week here, and also as we go beyond in the future for spring, summer, fall. We got it all covered for you, so subscribe to the channel, check back often for updates. Like the video down below if you did enjoy it by giving it a thumbs up. Leave any comments, questions, concerns below. I hope everybody has a Christmas and wonderful Christmas out there, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day out there as well.